There are differences between the Czech Republic and Poland in terms of security policy, in their threat perception of what is happening in the eastern neighborhood, and in their assessment of what needs to be done by NATO, by the EU, by member states individually. That being said, the differences are narrower than it might seem from the political rhetoric or from the political statements of the leaders. It is clear, on the one hand, that the kind of existential anxiety and sense of threat from Russia that the Poles are experiencing is not felt in the Czech Republic.
You neighboring with Russia and having much more closer experience of the Ukrainian crisis brought you to much faster realization how security must be put on top of the agenda.
You have different neighbors. You have a common border with Ukraine, but Czech Republic is the longest border of Czech Republic is with Germany. So we are somehow feeling probably more safe because we are next to such a strong neighbor.
The Czechs don't feel a direct security threat at the moment. And from that assessment stems the Czech position, which is skeptical toward permanent stationing of NATO troops to strengthen the eastern flank of NATO, unlike obviously Poland, which is also against providing lethal weapons to Ukrainians to fight in the east, which on the other hand is aligned with the Polish view. Obviously the Czech government is a bit more skeptical toward the EU sanctions that has been imposed on Russia as a result of its actions, but has supported those actions nonetheless. All of this is to say that there are differences of degree and which can be worked around so that there is a consensus on some issues at least. For instance, both countries agree that NATO should strengthen its presence in Eastern Europe. The question is how to do it. Both countries agree that we need a stronger deterrence against Russia. The question is how to do it. And also, both countries agree that Russia's actions in Eastern Ukraine, its seizure of Crimea was a violation of international law, that it is actually supporting, that Russia is actively supporting the conflict in Ukraine. So there are lots of similarities, not least in helping Ukraine. Both countries agree that Ukraine needs financial help, needs political help in terms of assistance in their pursuit of structural reforms. So overall, I think there's plenty to work with when it comes to future cooperation between Poland and Czech Republic in terms of security policy, both on a bilateral basis, within NATO, within the EU, and in the V4 framework.